Hello, it's Leslie here. So I'm going to be building up two road bikes. One of them is about a frame that's about 20 years old, and the other one is from 2007, I believe. So I brought these two bikes back with me from Spain, and one of them was missing a few parts. And I thought, well, it was missing the shift levers, and it was missing the cassette, and I stuffed up one of the rear derailleurs. So I ended up getting a 12-speed Campagnolo, shifters and rear derailleur. So I got these ready to go. This is the 12-speed super record. I'm going to put different pulley wheels on there. The shape of this kind of grew on me. It kind of will look good on the bike that it's going on. It's an Italian bike, and these are the super record shift levers, and I'm very happy with those, even though I haven't tried them yet. I'm sure they'll be fantastic. The main thing I wanted to talk about in this video, though, is the cassette. The cassette, I had a real big problem with the super record. Well, not the super record cassette, just the 12-speed cassettes. For one thing, I'm not liking the ratios that they're offering. Apart from that, I'll talk about the ratios in a minute, because that's what I wanted to talk about in this video the most. And, it's a bit of a pig of a cassette, because they've gone back from titanium cogs to steel cogs. That's fine, but they haven't even drilled any holes in them in anywhere or anything. And it's a pretty ugly looking cassette. I don't like the way they've just hung the 12 cog off the back of the thing. So I didn't want to buy the cassette, and it's $400. It's quite a lot of money for an all steel cassette that's not even a one-piece cassette. So what I was going to do was I bought a Mish cassette, and they're not very good, but I bought one anyway, and I was going to make my own 12-speed cassette, and I hit a kind of a hurdle with that. So I bought enough cogs to make 4 different cassettes, 11 a 21 tooth cassette, a 23 tooth cassette, a 25 tooth cassette, and a 27. So those are the ratios I'm kind of happy to use. Anyway. So what I did was I bought some spacers, and I worked out the thickness between the cogs and the thickness of the cogs and what sort of spacers I'd need, and I ended up getting these 1.85 millimeter spacers. They turned out to be too thick, because I didn't take into account the way they machine the tops of the cogs where the teeth are. So actually the gap there ends up being bigger. So then what I tried was, I thought I'll redo my calculations, and I ended up trying these 1.5 millimeter spacers. But on a few of the gears there, the chain touched the teeth. So I was back to online ordering, and I ordered what I thought were some 1.6 millimeter spacers, which are supposedly these ones, which are for Mavic or something like that. So these ones turned out to be the wrong size. These actually turned out to be 1.8 millimeters each, because I measured all 10, and I could just tell by looking at the stack of them that wasn't 16 millimeters. I thought, that's not 16 millimeters anyway. So that ended up being wrong. So I'm having to abandon my idea of making my own cassette, and that kind of annoys me, because the ratios, I don't like the ratios that Campagnolo is now forcing on people for the 12-speed drivetrains. You know, back in when I was starting off, I had a 28 tooth mountain bike cassette. You know, that was a mountain bike cassette. So their smallest now is 29 tooth. Anyway, you know, I started on my first road bike had a 21 tooth cassette on it. And I think it was a 9-speed. Yeah. So I bought at the shop and I said, oh, that's a 21 tooth. Oh, won't, you know, that's too hard. And he said, oh, the ratios are close together. You'll be all right. He was probably just trying to get rid of his 21 tooth cassette. But I actually got on with that okay. And I liked it. Apart from if you're going up a 10% incline or something like that, then it kills you. So I moved to like a 23 teeth cassette for a while. And then that was all good. But what happened to me was I moved to the Canary Islands, and it's all a volcano there. And so, you know, I took my 23 teeth cassette there, and it was a bit hard, let's say. So I ended up going to like a 25 tooth cassette was what I had, which is what I kind of think the average should be. You know, it should be averages. For an average good rider should be 25, and if you're really strong, 23, and if you're not so strong, then 27. So a lot of I used to rent out bikes in Tenerife, and I'd either spec a 25 tooth cassette with the triple by the end of it, or a 27 tooth cassette with a compact. And so, yeah, the bike that I'm building up has a compact crank. And I think 29 tooth cassette with that, with a compact crank, is kind of overkill for where I live, because I live in Australia and it's pretty flat here. You do have the occasional, you know, road ramps up a bit, but it's not like where I used to live in Tenerife. So in Tenerife, I could understand having a, you know, 29 tooth cassette, or even a 32 or a 34 even. That'd be fine. There was one climb there called Tierra del Trigo, which was like a 25% average gradient or some crazy amount. And I went up that in a 23 tooth cassette once, and I nearly died. So, you know, I learned more about gear ratios and everything when I was there. And generally I learned to like up to, you know, 25 or 27. I thought, this is good. But coming back here in Australia, you know, I prefer to have like a closer ratio one. And like what I'm doing is I'm going to end up building 4 cassettes for my vintage road bike build. And here's one of them, right? So this is going to be I'm going to work up to this. This one is the Mish cassette. I'll just pull that off, because this, oh no, yeah, I can actually pull that off. This wheel's going to get equipped with a ceramic bearing, so there's no actual bearings in this wheel. So I'll talk about this for a bit. You know, you don't see these cassettes anymore, but this is actually a straight block cassette. You know, this is like, I believe it's 11 to 21 tooth cassette, this one. So I'm going to work up to that, and hopefully next year I'll be riding this baby. Because I'm not, I don't want to ride around on a 34 tooth cassette. I won't improve my fitness doing that. It just won't. I don't want to be doing that. I'm not that happy about 34 tooth cassettes. So I'm going to get some Mish alloy cassettes. I'll be getting a 23, a 25 and a 27. and then working my way up. Let's pause that. Okay, so what I'm saying is, you know, if you live in the mountains, you know, a 29 tooth cassette, or even a 32, or even a 34, even though it's ridiculously big, it's fine. You know, I'd gladly mount that on my bike. But here in Australia, I'm just not too happy with the way they're forcing people to use these cassettes. They're trying to, they're taking away people's choice a lot, and they're trying to fit everyone into the same basket. And a lot of that, I think, is to reduce costs, because it doesn't cost as much money to produce only one or two. Initially, they're only going to produce two, I believe. The trouble, though, is it used to be the 27 used to be the easiest one. You know, now you can't even get, like, it's literally gone from 21 is gone, 23 is gone, 25 is gone, 27 has gone. So, you know, not everyone needs a 29 tooth cassette. Maybe I do need one at the moment. But I'm hoping when I lose about 20 kilograms of weight, I won't be needing that. And I kind of like that about road bikes, where you need to be fit to ride them. I kind of liked that whole, you know, idea of if you're not fit, you'll quickly get fit by riding them. And I'm not one of those people who mashes gears and like a sprinter. I've always been more of a climber, believe it or not, and, you know, high cadence. But I think what I'm saying is, there's a couple of things I wanted to show in this video. One is, I don't want to produce any paid content. I just want to say things, and if that means criticizing things or having my own opinion, whatever, I want to be able to say what's on my mind, because I'm not keen on watching paid videos. I don't think, it's just not where I like. I don't like watch. Yeah, I had to get my thoughts together there. I'm not able to edit these videos at the moment because my Adobe subscription has cancelled. So I've run out of money this month, and can't afford the Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, even on a student rate. So I usually would color correct these videos and make them a bit sharper and edit out everything, but I can't do that this time. Yeah, so I mainly wanted to produce a few videos to talk about things that I don't like as well, because, you know, everything on YouTube is becoming really like, oh, isn't this wonderful? Isn't this wonderful? Aren't gravel bikes wonderful? Aren't this? I'm not too happy the direction that the industry is taking, and I'm not afraid to say that. I think, you know, the world needs more critics, really. So I think Campagnolo is making a big mistake with their gear ratios, and I think it's not so much that the gear ratios they've chosen are bad. It's that they've taken away the others. So they're trying to force everyone into this basket. But they could have sold more than one cassette to people. They could have said to people, well, you need a mountain cassette for going in the Alps, and you need a flat cassette for flat stages. You know, if you're going to Holland, what good is a 34 tooth cassette, or to even a 29 tooth? You just don't, you're never in that gear, you know. So they could have sold straight block cassettes like this one. This is an 11 speed one. This is 11 to 21. 11, it goes 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. All right? One tooth jumps all the way. I'm looking forward to riding this baby. So they could have had a 12 to 23 straight block. They could have had in 12 speed. I'm not sure if they can because of the way it's designed and the spokes and everything, but they could have had 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That would have been a top cassette choice for strong riders. living in flat areas, you know. And they could have sold, I think they could have sold people, instead of just having one cassette to try and do everything, you know, have 2 or even 3 cassettes optimized for different things. You know, a mountain cassette, be it the 29 one, the straight block cassette, and then the mid-range cassette. So, yeah, just wanted to make this video to show you a little bit more about my personality and who I am, and I don't always like things, you know, like the first YouTube video was the Garmin Radar. I really like that, but I don't always want to talk about things I love. Well, I don't love it, but I don't always want to talk about things that I like. I think it's important to talk about things that you're not so keen on. So I'm not so keen on a lot of things. I'm not so keen on seeing disc brakes on road bikes, for example, and you won't see people on the popular channels saying that. There's this channel I watched the other day, and it has 2.5 million subscribers, and they're going off about how wonderful these disc brakes are and everything. But they are getting paid from Shimano to say that, right? I'm not getting paid from Shimano to say to produce these shitty videos of mine. I don't ever want to take money from people. I'd rather be honest and say what I like and what I think, rather than I find these videos rather fake, is what I'm saying. So I wanted to have a whinge about the cassette ratios. Not too happy with them. And yeah, another video I might do would be the whole disc brake scene, or the gravel bike scene. With disc brakes, that's a whole other topic. But I won't be buying a road bike with disc brakes where I live. It's just not optimal, you know. Gravel bikes, I kind of think they are a little bit like a hardtail mountain bike used to be, with drop bars. So I kind of think the industry's going places, and I'm not really liking it that much. Like people say, technology moves forward. So anyway, this channel is not all about always having the latest and the greatest. Sometimes I think, you know, the older things can be more suitable to you. So I won't be, knowing what I know now, I didn't know this in the beginning. When I ordered my shift levers and derailleur over here, the 12-speed thing, I didn't really think too much about the cassette. I thought I'll deal with that later. And I'd probably be buying I don't like, as I said, I don't like the Campagnolo 12-speed cassettes. I think they're a bit overpriced, and I don't like the ratios on them. And I kind of think, like, I feel like saying it with my money. Well, I'm not buying your cassette. I don't want. I refuse. So I'm going to probably buy a Recon cassette. I'm a bit upset because my idea with my Mish cassette here, I was going to try and make I got enough cogs here to make 4 cassettes out of this one, and I was going to try and do I thought I could get away with a 27 tooth cassette. So I'm a bit annoyed that I've hit that stumbling block, and that's one of the things I want to talk about in my YouTube videos, is the hurdles that I faced with getting my bikes back on the road and with the training. Because I watched this interesting channel the other day, and not everything's smooth sailing, you know, and it's interesting how people overcome things. So I'm going to overcome this little problem by just getting a different brand. I'm going to get the 1229 Recon cassette for $300. I think that is a I think it's a better made cassette. It certainly looks a lot nicer, and it's cheaper, and it's a lot lighter as well. So we're getting that one. Unfortunately, it's not so fun buying a cassette. I can't get that excited about forking over $300 for cogs, but we'll be doing that, and I think that will be the last part that's missing to build up at least one of the bikes. Yeah, one of the bikes is missing its cassette. So hopefully in the next few videos I will start speaking about the 2 road bikes that I'm building up. I haven't even ridden these bikes for a while. I'm mainly training on a hybrid bike now. So I'm a bit annoyed. I haven't actually had a ride in 2 or 3 days, so I'm yeah, not over the moon today because I haven't. Today's Christmas day. I haven't had a Christmas ride. Speaking about parts that I'm not that happy with as well, with the 12 speed group, I don't particularly like the cranks either. They're the 4-arm cranks. I'm not really. I think the 4-arm crank design is, I wouldn't say a step backwards. It just doesn't. To me, it's not aesthetically pleasing, you know. So yeah, I won't be getting that one. Yeah, so unfortunately, I'm just having to get the dreaded 29 tooth cassette because there's no other choice in 12 speed. That's the smallest they go. I really think I should have been on 27 tooth cassette at you know, on my hybrid bike. I think it's a 32, right? So on a road bike, you know, 27 would have been a nice starting place, and then I could have gone to 25. But I'm having to just lump it and get the cassette. I didn't really want a 29 tooth cassette. I wanted a 27 would have been nice. At least I'm going to get, instead of 1129, I will be getting a 1229. I don't usually do that, but that allows you to get to retain the 18 tooth cork. So I think it's 1 tooth jumps all the way to 19. So it's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then it jumps up from there. So I won't be getting an 11 tooth cog in that one. What do you think about the Campagnolo 12 speed cassette choices? Are you happy with them? You know, so I'm not. I don't like them. You know, what would you like to see? I actually started a petition to get them to make more closely spaced cassettes. You know, it only has 20 odd signatories on it, or whatever they're called. So I'll put the link to that, you know, below. But yeah. So apologies if this video has been rambling, but anyway, that's what I want. I just wanted to make a video about the cassette, and I don't like it. And also to say that I'll be doing a video of a couple of these road bike builds that I have. I think, you know, I think it'd be interesting to, well, I think it's interesting to watch how other people build up their bikes. And rather than just do it on a forum and just put up photos, I'm going to make a couple of videos about all the parts choices that I have made. And I'm going to talk about why I chose some of the parts that I have and why I like them. So I'm going to do that for 2 bikes, and I might also talk about the history of those same 2 frames in 2 separate videos. So I'll make a video about, you know, both frames, separate ones, talking about those and then how I'm actually going to build up the bike. So that's 4 videos. So yeah, that's all I have to talk about today. Yes, I've rambled, but I don't have that many subscribers at the moment, so what difference does it make? I just wanted to produce some regular new content, video content videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.